I've always been like dancing around and dressing up in my mom's clothing, but I really got started professionally about 3 years ago. I entered a competition at Cruise and Tango's Drag Race. It was my first time ever performing on like a major stage with an audience and planning numbers and outfits and hair and all of that. I think the drag scene in Toronto has changed quite a bit over the last 3 years that I've been a part of it. In particular, there are many more stages and spaces for more diverse performers. The drag king scene is definitely on the come up, and I'm super happy to see that. And I have drag kings as my guests at Drag Brunch. So the makeup process can take up to 2 hours, or if I'm in a real rush, probably like 45 minutes. And the first step of my process is my brows. I have a big bushy brows and I need to glue those suckers down. In the drag process, obviously I have facial hair. So after I shave my facial hair, there's still a little bit of a cool tone left on my face, but the rest of my face is more warm toned. So to sort of offset that cool tone, I put down an orange cream and buff it out. In terms of the foundation, it needs to be a very full coverage foundation, and I use a beauty blender. So contouring and highlight is probably my favorite part of the entire drag transformation process. With the contouring, you want to use the darker colors in the sort of extremities of the face, so the top of the forehead, the really like the edges of the cheeks, a bit of the nose as well. Essentially, the objective of contouring and highlighting is to really sink in the portions of the face that you would want to, and then to hide the portions that you really want to get rid of. For my eyes, I always start with my liner, and then my liner is done in a pencil, and it sort of sets the framework for everything. Then I buff in some neutral browns and blacks into my crease. I like that. It's a little bit of like a smoky eye that you see on YouTube, super popular. And then I do my eyebrows. So I'm very proud of my eyebrows. They're very large and in charge. And then I place on the big eyelashes at the end. And I feel like the eyelashes are the most important part of the process. When you're doing your lips, overlining is super important in drag, in particular for men who are performing as women or trying to give sort of a female illusion. Men's lips tend to be smaller and less plump, and so it's good to go in with a liner, really overdraw the lip, fill that in with the pencil, and then also a liquid lip. And then what I always like to do is to add a shimmer in the center to add dimension, but then also to add a little bit of life to the face. So once the makeup process is done, that long process of makeup, then generally speaking, I go into sort of Spanx and then 4 layers of dance tights. I put in foam padding on my hips, as well as my chest, just to make that sort of hourglass shape. So then generally speaking, once the padding is on, I will put on my costume. I usually need some assistance getting zipped in. And I put on my wig. This wig in particular has bangs, so I don't need to use a wig glue. So once all of that is done, the makeup, the padding, the costume, the hair, the heels, all of it, once that is fully on, I'm in my suit of armor. It takes a lot of time, but nothing really compares to the feeling of getting on a stage and performing a number, how you want to perform it, and just really feeling the energy that comes from within yourself, but then also how people react to that energy. Like, I don't care if I take 5 hours to do this, like that moment I get with somebody, that's the world to me.